What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Internet Capitalist Podcast with Luke Kish, where we talk about mindsets, experiences, and frameworks that will help you have fun, get rich, build cool shit, and positively impact the world. I'm your host, Luke Kish, and welcome to episode number 22 of the podcast, all about sowing before you reap. I just got off a discussion with my sales team, and this was the topic. And I think it's such an important one, not just for salespeople, but for really everyone who's trying to get anywhere in life. I think that often people bring the wrong expectation that when they do things, immediately they're going to begin seeing the results from them. And then furthermore, the results that you're currently experiencing having to do with the things that you're currently doing. I don't think either of these are true. I think the results I'm experiencing today have to do with things that I was doing last year. And I think the results that I'll experience a year from now have to do with the things that I'm doing today. And same thing with every single job. I think as you grow bigger things or as you create more motion around you, the delay from what you're currently working on versus what you're currently experiencing probably elongates. But for everybody, it's a very real principle, maybe at different scales and maybe at shorter scales for some people in some situations and longer scales for some people in other situations, but really something important to understand nonetheless. So let's talk about it. Sowing before you reap. I'm going to use a really obvious example, which is sales. Often salespeople will be having huge days and they'll be thinking that because they're having huge days, they must be doing something today that's making them have a huge day. Sometimes this is the case, but typically it's not. Typically, huge days come from time spent on phones previous months, time spent in CRM previous months, time spent building lists previous months, time spent working and warming leads, building relationships, building conversations in previous months. Lots of activity around those things then in future months create these periods of like massive influx. And here's what's interesting. So, you'll have, like, I came into our sales team and I came in because we needed to light a fire up under everyone's ass and get everyone going, right? The conversion rates were down, the sales bookings were down. I go in, I'm like, hey, we need all of these activities to go way fucking up. Like, let's realign to true north of what good actually is here. Boom, everyone's activity goes through the roof. People are working the CRMs, phones are hot, conversations, text messages, all of these activities that build relationships, get people on the phone, and then in the end, create sales. Then you fast forward a few weeks. Oh my God, now there's a huge influx in the sales volume, right? Like everyone's making tons of money, big commission checks. What's interesting is typically for the unexperienced and really for the people who haven't just gone through the cycle before, when things begin to go great, typically individuals stop doing things that caused things to go great because there's a miscorrelate around what's happening today and the outcome you're receiving today versus the outcome you're receiving today and what actually caused it during previous period, right? So you're making all these sales all of a sudden and you're having all these conversions happen and you're forgetting, due to how humans are, that all of those conversations were teed up and were prepared in the months prior. And now you're making all of this money, you're having these huge success, these big conversion rates, and then all of a sudden all of those activities that actually generated the success that you're experiencing today that took place a month ago when times were slow, things were hard, and you were working your tail off, you stopped doing. And you fast forward another 2 weeks, your conversion rates are back down. Why are my conversion rates down? And the person's thinking, I must be doing something different right now. Let me begin to work all of these leads, hit the phone, send more texts, work the CRM, build conversations, practice my skills. And then, 2 weeks after that, the cycle repeats itself. So understanding this and having the mental fortitude to define what the activities are and work them day in and day out, whether things are going good or bad, knowing that you damn well might not see any reward for them that day, that week, that month, and then if you're trying to build big things, even that year. Having the mental fortitude to still be able to do the activities anyway. So a couple key things there are, what are the activities? So if you want to reap a huge harvest in the future around, X thing, whatever it may be. We're using sales as an example. You could do real estate as another example. You could do, network marketing as another example. You can do an internet business as another example. You could do, any business, whatever it is. What activities do you know are going to produce the favorable outcome? If you want to have a big harvest, like if you're a farmer, you want to have a big harvest of corn come springtime, then what do you need to do during all the other seasons that's going to produce a lot of fucking corn? Well, you need to plant a lot of corn. You got to get your fertilizer. You got to fucking farm the ground, right? You got to make all the rows. You got to water everything. You got to make sure there's no bugs. You got to spray with, whatever. And that's a farming example, but the same thing goes with any business, right? Real estate. Did you build your list? Like, did you create your marketing materials? Did you repeatedly do these activities that you know are going to lead to the desired outcome over time, regardless of the result you were or were not experiencing throughout the duration? That is the key, right? Working out, same thing. You work out and you define the activities ahead of time that if you do, are going to get you the desired outcome. Eating correctly, working out a certain amount of times per week with a certain amount of intensity, sleeping good, avoiding alcohol, avoiding drugs. If you just do those things over time, you will experience result. Will there be weeks where you feel like you're making absolutely no progress? Yes, but if you hold those activities, you will experience result. And then what's interesting is when you experience result, the moment you stop doing those things is the moment you begin moving in the other direction, right? Entropy is nature's first law. You can be in the greatest shape in the world. The moment you stop doing what got you in the greatest shape in the world is the moment you begin to get soft, fluffy, and move in the other direction. It does not take long. So, and the other thing is it might not happen right away. Like if you really got your body to an incredible state, then you could be a piece of shit for a few weeks and get away with it, right? But you're sowing the seeds of a shitty body to come in the future by not going to the gym, by eating unhealthy, by consuming too much alcohol, all these things. And then in time, you will reap what you sow. So big lesson for today, sow what you reap what you sow. Sow what you want to reap and you will reap what you have sown. And have the mental fortitude to realize that you might be sowing, you might be planting seeds, you might be, working leads and doing a bunch of menial, seemingly insignificant tasks today where you feel no outcome from it, you feel no upside from it, you feel no result from it. You need to have the mental fortitude to just stay conscious and realize, I know that this activity is going to give me a favorable result over time if I continue to do it with this thinking, with this intent, and for this reason. And then you will, and then the person who does that will reap more than the person who does not. And then to the extent that the person does that is to the extent that they will reap. So Jim Rohn's got a great way to go about this. If you want to listen to someone else talk on it, Building Your Network Marketing Business audio by Jim Rohn. He talks about, planting seeds. Some birds eat seeds. Sometimes there's floods that wash away some of the seeds. Sometimes seeds aren't on good soil. And then sometimes a few seeds are on perfect soil, perfect water, and perfect sunlight. And then those seeds just flourish and grow into beautiful things. And that's the way life works. You're going to have to plant a lot of seeds. But you don't have control over the sun. You don't have control over the birds. You don't have control over the water. Right? You don't have control over the environment. You don't have control over, the recession. You don't have control over whether people are buying or not during certain periods. You don't have control over, the housing market. You don't have control over these things. But what you do have control over is the amount of seeds you plant and the activities that you can take. And push comes to shove, nothing external, none of the stuff that is like the 10% difference maker, where people are like, oh, the economy, like, let's focus on, Black Friday, Cyber Monday hangover, or, housing market. Like, nobody wins because they overly thought about that. The people who win because they stayed focusing on what they could control and the seeds that they could plant throughout the duration, no matter what, right? Like, what do I have control over? And then the person who takes control, is like, I'm going to fucking do this more than everybody else, better than everybody else. When the sale comes around, when the market turns around, when the buying intent goes back to great, that person outsells everybody 10-1. That person outperforms everybody 10-1. Like, that person looks better than everybody 10-1. That is the way the world works. Don't focus on these things outside of you that you cannot control. Focus on what you can have control over. Define the activities that if you do over time, regardless of the current result day to day or fluctuating result day to day, will produce the favorable outcome in the future. If you stick to those things, you will reap. You will have the wins. That is the way it works. That's the whole premise of the book Atomic Habits is like, don't worry about what the goal is. Worry about the habits and actions that are going to produce the goal. Like, if you take golf lessons with pros every fucking day for a long time, you'll get good at golf. You don't have to focus on getting good at golf. You just have to do that action every single day, right? If you take new sales training every single day and you take sales calls every day and you work the CRM for a defined period of time every single day, and you refine and you have intent every single day, you do not have to worry about the result. You don't have to feel anything about the result when it's going good or bad. You will succeed in sales and selling, right? Like, if you want to sell a ton of houses and, I'm not in real estate, but if you get all of the listings, right? If you focus on branding yourself well every single day, you focus on selling houses every single day, you focus on, making the brochures every single day, working your leads every single day, building relationships. I'd say that's probably the most important one. Building relationships and adding value to clients. The housing market is bad. All right, well, give people value on the housing market, right? And why it's bad right now. Inform them. Show them where the risk lies. Help them do that. The person who does that with 2,000 people today will sell 50 more houses 3 years from now. Why? Because they got the value, they added the value, they built the relationship with the person during this period of time where everyone else was sitting on their fucking hands, planting no seeds or negative seeds, bad seeds, trying to, scrounge for a sale. Well, the other person had depth of vision and said, okay, no, this activity today will give me the harvest 3 years from now, 2 years from now, a year from now. Then that person sells a bunch of real estate a year from now. They don't need to focus on how much real estate they are or are not selling. They're taking the activities that are going to produce the results. Building the business, it's like, whatever, what's the product? Manufacturer, wasn't that good. Okay, well, did product refinement, market research, listen to the customers, improve the product, listen to the customers, improve the product. Manufacturer couldn't make the next improvement, found a new manufacturer, couldn't find the new manufacturer, talked to 15 other people, found the manufacturer, now the product's improved. You don't have to focus on the outcome in this case, right? You're taking all the activities that are going to produce the outcome. That's what makes us human. You can define these things consciously, be in a state of mind where you're like, okay, I don't care how I feel emotionally tomorrow, the next day. I know that emotionally I'm going to vary. I know that some days I'm going to feel like doing this. I know that some days I'm going to feel like shit and like I want to just go to sleep. But I can consciously lock in right now in this state that these activities will produce this outcome. I want this outcome, so I'm going to carry out these activities every day for myself, regardless of how I feel. And then when times turn, you just give it time. You do that, then you just give it time, you will reap. you will outproduce, you will outperform everybody who's not doing that, right? And you have control over that. You have control over that. It's a wonderful thing. So that is my message for you guys today. Have the mental fortitude to plant seeds today and tomorrow and next week and 2 weeks from now, and take actions today and work things today that are challenging, hard, maybe feel mundane, maybe feel insignificant, maybe feel high volume, maybe feel repetitive. You fill in how they make you feel. How they make you feel is irrelevant to them producing the outcome or not. If you know they produce the outcome, you do them. You do those things today, you will have a harvest in the future. You will have something in the future. Does it require mental fortitude? Absolutely. Can you be conscious of it? Absolutely. And can you do it when you're conscious of it and build your mental fortitude? Absolutely. All right. So plant the seeds, sow before you reap. It's a good lesson. And I'm going to end it there. I had another thing, but if I talked about it, it probably would have took another 15 fucking minutes. And I have a little meeting to go to. So that's it. Appreciate you guys listening. If this helped, then please share it with any friend you think it could help. Especially, when there's some challenges outside of us that people are focusing too much on, when they can control themselves, their outputs and their activities. And that's the way, it's like if things are going to hell around you, regardless, and you have no control over them, the person who controls what they can control, i.e. themselves, always ends up in a better position without question. All right. So sow today what you want to reap in the future. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening. Share with a friend if it could help them. I don't run any ads on this. That's all I'm asking for. Subscribe. See you tomorrow on the next episode. Thank you for being internet capitalist, and have a great day.